Look, the Rebbe. So the most recent issue we talked about was Shechina, right? We mentioned Agav Shechina law or whatever it is, Luches. And if you follow the pattern of this Perek, there's three madreges in it. Bayis Rishon, when you have the Luches. Bayis Sheni, when you have only the Torah, in quotes. And Churban Golos, when you don't even have that, and all you have is the Al Damash Halacha. Bottom line is, Shechina is available to all of us. It's here. And Shechina, the Taich, the Klolos of Alakus. Even though the amount of Gili of the Eibishter in the creation is very, very small, the whole Eibishter is invested in the creation. And he's available through Teda and Mit. Now he goes back to Perek Lamed Hey and the discussion of Dira B'Tachtenim. And let's make it quick. First of all, the mashal. The mashal was that Shlomo Melech says, do not have a deficiency of oil on your head. Oil goes on mitzvahs of Maisim Tevim. And when you have oil, which are mitzvahs of Maisim Tevim, so then the candle is going to burn, and the candle is the Shechina. So there's two parts of the mashal so far. The fuel is Teda Mitzvahs, the fire is the Shechina. But there's a third point that's going to be discussed, and that's the psila, the wick. And the psila has to become black and has to be destroyed. And the Rebbe says this is birur. Because you're not just bringing down a lakus to your neshama. If you're bringing down a lakus to your neshama, you wouldn't need the singeing of the wick. And you wouldn't need a Yetzer Hara, and you wouldn't need a war. What the Alter Rebbe called in Lamed Hey, Leheva, Legalarik. You're going to spend your whole life fighting with a Yetzer Hara and never defeat him. But because the purpose is to be Mevader, your Nefesh HaBahamis, and your Guf, and your Chafatzim, and your Chalke Ba'olam, and like the Alter Rebbe says in Lamed Zayin, until Yidden collectively are Mevader, the whole Gashmi is the and Chumri is the world, that's why the Eibishter makes it a struggle. And in the Mashal, it's the singed wick that affects the connectionness between the fuel, which is the Torah and Mitzvahs, and the fire, which is the Shechina. Look, the Rebbe Zeo, Shekosava Yenuka, the Yenuka, the little boy in Zayah says, the Neheri law, the Adlik al Reisha, the supernal candle which is burning on top of the head, the fire, his Shechinta, is the Shechina, and the Shechina is, as we learned in the last three prakim, Mehuz v'yatzma, sense of the whole of Getlachkeit is the Shechina, and Itzrich le-Mishcha, needs to have fuel. Mishcha means Shemen. Pirush, le-Slabish, to reveal itself, b'Chochma, which is Chochma, Anikeh Shemen Mishchas Kedesh, which is called the Shemen Mishchas Kedesh. It's a kind of an oil that anoints and is holy. Mishkosa b'Zeir, and the Pshat and this Anikeh Shemen Mishchas Kedesh, I have no clue what it means. The Inun, and what is this Shemen, Mishchas Kedesh, which affects the Shechina to come down into Chochma, it's Uvdin Tav. Good deeds. Translates the Alter Rebbe, Hein Tayag Mitzvahs, the 613 Mitzvahs, and Amshachas B'Chachmasa Yizbarach, which come from the Eibishter's Chochma. Kedei, and the Yiddishkeit that we perform, which is the fuel, is Lecha, is Eid, Hashchina, to hold on to the light of the Shechina, which is Mehus V'atzma Sein Sof. And where do you want to hold it? B'Psila. The Alter Rebbe, He Nefesh HaChayuna Shebaguf. And the Psila is the third issue. This is the Nefesh HaBahamis, which is in the body. Hanikras Psila al Derech Moshe, which is called the wick by way of analogy. K'meisha b'nei Gashmi, in a physical candle. Ha'oin meir, the light is able to radiate and shine. Al yadei kilyin useifas ha'psila, by consuming and burning the wick. Hanerpechas li'esh, and the wick has to become fire. You have to destroy it, so to speak, a little bit. Kach, the same is also true here. Eir ha'shchina, which is a lakus, which is Mehus v'atzma Sein Sof, the whole of godliness, which is the nimshal of the whole of the neshama. Shade al Nefesh HaLekis is manifest. Now finally he uses the word shade as opposed to mislabish. Manifest, rest in an unchanged and yet in somehow revealed way. Al Nefesh HaLekis, on the divine soul. Yeah, what's the Nefesh HaLekis in the mashal? If the fuel is Torah and mitzvahs, and the fire is the Shechina, and the wick is the Nefesh HaBahamis, so what's the neshama? The cup? The oil is the Torah mitzvahs, and the fire is the Shechina, right? I don't know. The whole idea is that Nefesh HaLekis needs Shechina, because Nefesh HaLekis is Yash Mish Oyev. This is Arichas Lamed Hey and Lamed Zayin, and therefore it becomes totally Batal HaLekus through Yiddishkeit. And it's really mentioned before in Perek Dalet. Even though the Neshama is the Chelek HaMal Mamish, still it writes of B'Kuchavecha Kul Achad, and we need Torah mitzvah to the Eibishter, because as much as the Neshama is a Lakus, it's B'Mdida V'Akbala without a Lakus. Says the Rebbe Shed on Nefesh HaLekis rests on the godly soul. They kill your Nefesh HaBahamis by the consumption of the Nefesh HaBahamis. V'his hapchusa, in his transformation from black into light and from bitterness into sweetness. So bit tzaddikim, by tzaddikim, Dr. Rebbe says in Tanya Perek Yud, this is the Madrega of Gan Eden El inside the Gomor. It's called this hapcha, to transform klipa into kedusha. But by beinanim or lapachas, at the very least, einach hanami, I'm not making klipa into kedusha to the extent that I have two nefesh halakis, which is the Madrega of tzaddik Gomor. But at least it's hapchusa mecheshach la'ed. I'm transforming darkness mecheshach klipas. The darkness of Klipis, Shehain, which is, where am I holding? Machshava Dibur, the infinite light, the Eibishter Ein Sof, Hamalubish, Hamayuchad, which is revealed and unified with Machshava Dibur, the Maisa and thought, speech, and deed of Tayak Mitzvah Teira. Of the 630 Mitzvah Teira Bebenyan. So a Benyan is only giving the Eibishter's Machshava Dibur Maisa, but even giving Machshava Dibur Maisa is a war, and the war is an infinite hapche, at least at this moment of the Levush with Nefesh HaBahamis. And by Tzadikim, there's a war where they conquer the whole of the Nefesh HaBahamis. Gayadei his hapchos Nefesh HaBahamis, dafke, through burning the wick, which is transforming Nefesh HaBahamis, that by Tzadikim it's complete, and by Berenim it's only a Cheteni is the Keinyan. But the bottom line is this war and this blackening of the wick, which is transformation of Nefesh HaBahamis. Habod that Nefesh HaBahamis comes, miklipas neg from klipa, mechashechaf from a state of blackness, lenehed to a state of light. V'chuli, look the Rebbe, nasa b'cheres halas man, it affects an ascension of Yisirusat Latat, an arousal from below, which is the going to the Eibishter. Lahamshech, to bring down Eir HaShechina, the light of the Shechina, he bechinas Gilead in Seiv Baruch Hu, which is the revelation of Ein Sof, Al Naf Sheha Alekith Shebemech and Sheberesh, on the godly soul which is in the mind, which is in his head. So understand what we're saying. The fight with Nefesh HaBahamis, so like this. The Torah and mitzvahs is the fuel. The Shechina is the fire. In other words, if you just do Torah and mitzvahs, you don't have a skafye. You have the Shechina, but it's not coming into you. You want the Shechina to come into you, you have to have a fight. The beater, the burning of the wick. And the Alter Rebbe concludes Chelik Rishon of Tanya, Bazeh Yuven hated. This explains well. Mashakos, the pasuk which is brought to Chassidus and Tashturim, we had it in Samachei recently. It's like a fire that consumes. Look at the fire that consumes. There's a fire that consumes. And Dafka, the fire is consuming, you have the fire of the Eibishter. The fire of the Eibishter is above the fire that consumes. The fire of the Eibishter is the fight with the fire that consumes the fight of the Nefesh HaBahamis. The fire of the Eibishter is pure lichtigkeit which doesn't consume. It's brought in Hayem Yem from the middle of Rebbe. The middle of Rebbe says, how come it is that everybody runs away from Chassidus? The Teira is Mayim, and Mayim everybody runs to. So the middle of Rebbe says, it's a Menachem. He says that Taka Teira is water, but Chassidus is fire. And people are naturally afraid of fire. You have to chase them, grab them by the collar, and tell them, Taka Chassidus is fire, but it's the fire of the Eibishter. As brennt, aber es verbrennt nicht. It warms you up, but it doesn't destroy you. So there's two fires here. The fire of Nefesh HaBahamis is destroying. The fire of Elokus mach lichtig. But in order to mach lichtig, the fire of Nefesh HaBahamis. You should know that on Teira, the way it's described is that there's different fires. There's black fire and there's white fire. The fire closest to the wick is a darker color. The fire further from the wick is a lighter color. And over there he explained that this is the chiluk between the bidder of Nefesh HaBahamis and the eish kodesh of the Nefesh HaLekis, like he's explaining over here. But here there's missing pieces. You understand what I'm saying? Like the Alter Rebbe, this is the word. The Alter Rebbe wrote these words himself. Nishlam chelik rishin be'ezer Hashem yizbarach v'yisal.